Welcome to another stream, live and direct. Um, my name is Nifemi Aluko. I am going to be your host, and today this is episode 7 of the Creative Live Stream Flow, where I edit my fourth book, Musta's Mixtape, coming August 2024. And you watch me live and direct as I edit and listen to some music. And you can also use this as a session to, I don't know, work on whatever you're working on. Work on your business. Use it as some quiet time to do your own work. You could write also if you want to write. What else? Or you could just hang out, listen to some music as I write. The way it works is every 45 minutes, while I'm writing, I stop writing. Um, I chat a bit. So feel free to drop some comments in there, so that once I come back up, I could say a few words. So welcome again, creative stream number 7. So I've been doing this for 7 weeks now, writing online, for my fourth book coming out, Musta's Mixtape. And yeah, so let's get into it. All right. Ooh, I see a few friends in here real quick before I start. Miss Sui, what's up? All right. I'm gonna play some music and we're gonna get to it. What's up? What's up? How y'all doing? Quick intermission. All right. Shout out. I see about 32 people have joined the session. How you doing? Happy Saturday. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. I hope you're doing something you're enjoying right now. Um, I see a few people in here, a few people in the comments. Shout out to Coin Coffee. How you doing? I'm good, man. Hope you're doing well. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody at Coin Coffee doing their thing. Um, yeah, this was a interesting session as usual. As you know, I'm writing my fourth book called Musta's Mixtape. Um, it's a non-fiction. It's a fiction book. It's a sci-fi novel. It's a prequel to Toffee's Divide, my first novel, and it is planned to be published in August 2024. Um, Literally in a month, right? So, where we're at in the process, manuscript written. I wrote that on my phone about 2 years ago. Let it sit for a while. Now I'm in the editing phase, And I use the analogy sometimes that writing is like sculpting. So, when you write something down, you have like the first chunk of words. Sometimes it comes out coherent, most times it doesn't. But you just have to put something down so that you can go back and reflect and kind of see your thought process, and then you can come in and refine. And every time you're editing, it's like you're chipping away at your initial thing, and you're getting into it. The more you do it, the more it makes sense. So my advice to most people that want to write, that want to create, is just go ahead and do it. The first draft, the first approach never really makes sense until you get into it some more, and then it starts to make sense with time. So I've gone into a phase of my book that is now starting to make sense. It's finally coming to life. I'm, taking time to review edits from my development editor, and she's given a lot of places where she's like, you can improve on this, you can focus on X, Y, and Z. Um, and that's what we're going through. So it's just chapter by chapter, going through different things, and going to making changes and trying to refine this so that we can get it ready. Once we get through this phase, hopefully in the next week or two, hopefully in the next week, then the next phase is to get it to copy editing. Copy editing is where we kind of look through to make sure there are no grammatical errors, make sure no spelling mistakes, and just making sure everything sounds good, sounds natural. And after that, get it to the layout designer, format the book, and do the cover design. And once we have all that, is to set it up for publishing and marketing. Now, most people might think writing a book is a hard part. The hard part is actually marketing the book, right? After you make the book and you have something and you have a product to sell, the product is only as good as the marketing. To be honest, it's good if you're mainly doing it for yourself and you just want to create something, that's good. But if you also want to get this book to as many people as possible, you have to focus on the marketing. And sometimes you have to build that audience before your book is published. So ways to do that is to start talking about the book ahead of time. Show people the process, um, build an audience, let them trust you. And so when the book is ready to go, you already have a decent amount of people that are looking to buy the book. So that's part of what I'm doing here. I thought I'll show you the process of creating a book, writing my book, and editing live and direct. That's me doing the edits. Um, One thing I wanted to share is when I wrote this book, what I did was I actually wrote the entire book on my phone, right? And it was a very interesting process. And what I learned is it gave me a way to just get stuff down. And the advantage of writing on the phone is, the small screen actually allows you to just write without focusing on editing. A lot of the mistake I It's not a mistake, it's a style, but something that stops people from writing is they want to write and edit at the same time. I think these are two very different things. There's a moment to write and just put everything you have in your mind down, and then there's the moment to edit. And the phone, writing on the phone, actually forces you to just write without editing. There are no like there are hardly a lot of spelling mistakes that you want to go back to fix. The screen is very small, so you're kind of just writing like, let's say, 10 lines. You can only see like 10 lines at a time, which allows you to just keep writing and not think about what you wrote before. It gives you a sense of just movement. What else? I also find it to be less intimidating. Sometimes I write and I just think of it like I'm texting a friend or sending a message to somebody. So it makes it less intimidating. It also, because it's a mobile phone, it makes it easy to do mobile writing, which is you can write anywhere you're at. You don't have to be seated in front of a computer. You can write while you're on the bus. You can write while you're on the train. You can write while you're in the car. You can write at the park. You could write anywhere, literally. So um, I would say if you feel stuck in your writing, I would give this advice um, to write on your phone. And this is how I would approach it, right? First thing is set a challenge for yourself and just say, I'm going to write for 10 minutes or 5 minutes every day for 30 days, right? Just give yourself a challenge. That's the first place to start. If you're writing a fiction novel or whatever it is, have some structure. Perhaps plan it out before you start writing. A good structure is the hero's journey. The hero's journey is about 12 steps of a good storyline. So use the hero's journey. Um, so if you have 30 days and you have 12 steps, just quick math is about 2.5. Every 2.5 days, you move from one step to the next in the hero's journey, right? So map out the hero's journey by steps. You could just do that like a quick thing in your phone, just map it out. Now, every 2 days, you move on to the next step in your journey, right? So in then you just when it's time to write, I personally prefer that you do it at the same time every day, just to kind of give yourself build that muscle. You set a timer, either on your phone or something else. I like to do it on my phone. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, set a timer, and just write. And you write till the timer goes off. Now, being that you already have a sense of where you're going to start based on mapping out the hero's journey, you have a place to start. Keep writing until you get to the end of your session. A little hack that I also do is usually for me, it takes me a few minutes to get into writing, but once you get into it, it's you actually just want to keep going. So to overcome the resistance every time, what I do is once I'm getting towards the end of a session, I make sure I start writing what I believe the idea for the next session would be. So it's almost like handing it off. I call it the trailing end, and leaving kind of, okay, this is the direction I want the story to keep going. Write a little bit about it, and you might even just write a few steps of um, the next scene should have XYZ, right? So that when you go back the day after to start again, you already have a starting point because the you kind of give yourself a layup or an alley from the day before, and then you do that and you keep doing this until you get to your 30-day mark. For my book, I actually did 60 days. I did 60 days for 15 minutes a day. I ended up with about 49,000 words. If you do 30 days for 15 minutes a day, you can get to half of that, 25,000 words. Most books, you know, people strive to at least have 25,000 words as a draft manuscript to have a sense of this is a decent sized book, right? You might want to go more, but that's a decent size to start. So those are a few steps to think about. So first thing, set a challenge, how many days you want to kind of go on this creative challenge. Second thing, use some structure. For fiction, you can use a hero's journey structure. Number three, um, every day set a timer and start writing on your phone for 5 to 10 minutes every single day, preferably in the same place at the same time. Number four, use the structure as the guide to start. And while you're going, make sure you leave a trailing end to give a sense of where the scene will be going so that it's easy for you to continue on the day after, right? And then number five is to, at the end of your 30-day, 60-day challenge, look at everything, accumulate everything, and put it on in a Word document. And easily, you've created a manuscript that you can use to reflect and edit to get your book out there. All right, so those are just a few things to keep in mind. I'm going to do another 45 minutes, and then we're going to be done with this session. I'm glad you had some time to join today. So let's just get to it. Going to keep playing some music. We're going to be writing. I'm actually going to go till 10:45 actually today, and put that down here. And we're going to get to it. All right, so let me play some music. I'm going to go hop in and just, all right, what we got here? No stress. Yeah, let's do that one. The music today is brought to you by Jay Dilla on YouTube. Let's skip that. Let's go back here. All right, let's go. So, another 30 minutes. Thanks for tuning in. Keep writing with me. All right, all right. Hey everyone. I have 36 people in the space. Shout out to everybody joining. Thank you for spending your time with me. Another good session of editing my fourth book. We got through a lot today. I did a lot in terms of plugging in gaps and kind of tying up some of the loose ends in the story based on the feedback from my development editor. So we're making great progress, great progress. So once again, we've been doing this for about seven weeks, 7 weekends in a row. But we're also getting to a point where I'm editing and I'm getting to the end of editing the book. So obviously at some point this book is going to have to be published, and I have to think about ways to keep doing this or keep streaming and experimenting with the stream and just continue to connect this way. But I'll be back at it next week. Um, you know, similar to what I talked about in the last break. I'm not sure if you got a chance to hear that, but I wrote the first manuscript of this book that I'm writing. I wrote it all, once again, I wrote it all on my phone. And it was a great opportunity to be able to just get the first manuscript down. And what you find out is what you find out is your first draft is just going to be honest, just going to be all right. I know a lot of people want that perfect manuscript, but the first draft will just be all right. And what we're doing here in editing is what is going to make the book shine. So get that first draft down, and you can do that first draft by writing most of your stuff on your phone. And here are five here are 5 steps to writing your first draft manuscript on your phone. So the first thing is um, you want to set a creative challenge, right? Set a challenge for yourself. Um, Advice is write for at least 30 days straight or 60 days, as I did here. So that's the first thing. Set a creative challenge and just show up and follow through. The second thing is set a structure for your writing. If you're going to write a novel, you could start with something like the hero's journey, which is like a 12-step structure. Or if you're doing nonfiction, just take some time to write down the main bullet points of what you want to write as a first draft. So that's step number 2. Step 3, get to your phone and set a timer. Set a timer for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I personally do 15 minutes and write until that timer goes off. Step 4, make sure you leave a trailing end. And what that means is um, whenever you're writing, the first couple of minutes might be a struggle, but you get into a flow towards the end of your writing. So, as a guidepost for the next day, make sure as you're in that flow of writing, you utilize the, will I say, inspiration or creativity at that point to give a guide for what the next day will be. So just write a few, make sure you write what you want to continue with the next day. I find that to be very, very helpful. And step 5, once you get to the last day of your challenge, whether it's a 30-day challenge, 60-day challenge, take everything you've written and put it in a Word document. I did this for 60 days and I wrote 15 minutes each day and I ended up with 49,000 words. You'll be surprised how many words you can put down. And as I said, it's just a manuscript to start with. And if you think of writing like sculpting, which is an analogy I use a lot, is the first manuscript is the raw material, is the brick that you use to start um, chiseling away until you reveal the real story through editing, right? So, 5 steps: set a challenge, number 1. Number 2, have some structure. Number 3, show up every day and set a timer and write till the timer goes off. Number 4, keep a trailing end at the end of your session to give you a guide for the next step. And number 5, once you're done with your challenge, take everything and put it into a condensed document, which would be your manuscript. So you can use these little hacks to, write. The good thing for me with mobile writing is the screens are small, so you don't do the writing and editing at the same time. It allows you to just focus on writing. Um, it's mobile. You can literally write anywhere. You don't have to be locked down to a desk or a computer. You can write at the park. You can write at a coffee shop. You can write on the bus, on the train, on the plane, wherever you are. You can write. And the third thing is, at least for me, it reduces the intimidation of writing because sometimes I just write like I'm texting a friend or sending a message to a family member. So those are the steps to get your manuscript down, to write your own book, which is what I use to get my manuscript down. And you can do it all on your phone. So utilize the technology to help you. And most importantly, put your phone on airplane mode while you write. That's a very important step So if there's a step 6, make sure you put the phone on airplane mode to make sure you're not getting notifications as you write. You want to make sure there's no distraction. All right. So those are those steps. And I hope you enjoyed this session. As I said, Musta's Mixtape is my fourth book, coming out in August 2024. The fall. I'm ready to go, ready to put this out there. Is starting to feel good. So I hope you continue to join me on this journey as I get towards publication, and I hope you get to read the book when it finally gets out there to the world. So I wish you a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Do your thing. I hope you had some time to yourself to actually reflect, write, create, work on your business, plan, strategize, or just do your thing, just hang out. All right. Just be, which is very important. Wish you the an enjoyable rest of your weekend, and I wish you have a good week ahead. All right, y'all. Peace.